Wave? Yay! I got a wave. Hey, Minnie, I think we're getting used to this stuff, huh? These guys are getting good. All right. Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Festool Live. You know how I know that? It's Friday, and it's noon. All right. We got a lot to call out before we get started today because we've got some wicked cool stuff to tell you. I'm going to introduce the room really quick. Over here's Big D. Okay, behind the cameras, Chris, the unit Cyber. Hello. Over here's Min Min. And look who decided to join us in the middle of the room. We have Sparky here. I am going to try not to trip over you, buddy, but we love you. You're awesome. Okay, so really quick, you're on YouTube. It's our channel. Why don't you subscribe? Huh? Hit the notification bell, would you? But also go check out everything else we have. We've kicked it up a notch. We have the Build series. We have Festool Shop Talk. And of course, we have Festool Live. We got a bunch of killer videos. You got to check it out. And as I say that, the Build series is with Brent. And Brent right now is online with you to answer all your questions. Thank you again, Brent, for all you do with us. All right. Whew. Good thing I wrote everything down. Okay, so today if you go to the Festool USA website.com, festoolcanada.com, or festool.ca, go check it out. There is a giveaway there. Don't get scared when you open up the web, the front page, but there is a giveaway. Is it a contest? It's a kind of a sweepstakes thing. It doesn't cost you anything to enter, and you can win. You can win a chance. Is that it? Or a chance to win? You have a chance to win if you go on. It's super easy. You just got to fill out a quick form, and the prize is basically a 1-hour Festool Live with me. Okay, they're giving me away. Minnie, is that okay? Okay, so there's a virtual training. You got to go on there and tell us what tool you like, that you would like a 1-hour training on. But of course, in that hour, if you have other questions I could possibly answer, I think we're giving away six positions or 6 hours each individually to people. Go on, and if you have a My Festool account, please go on there and sign up for this. It doesn't cost anything, and after it started today, right, Big D? And it ends January 23rd, and then we're going to choose the winners. I think we got this really cool way of doing it. It's some kind of discombobulated way, but it works great. It's a random drawing, and then we'll contact you, and then I'll schedule with you back and forth what's a great time for you to a Zoom call. Is it going to be a Zoom call? We'll do a Zoom call, and I'll be right in here. And it's basically you have your own Festool Live for 1 hour. Wow. Hopefully that's worth it if people sign up for it. Okay, everybody. Remember last week I did the OF 1400? Hopefully you watched it. Boy, we had a killer response to it. I think we had the most people watching live for it. And then I gave it a little bit of thought, and I said, you know what? Somebody asked me another question about something. I go, I've already done that. But it was buried into a build that we did, or an application. It was buried into the tapered column. And I forget what episode that is. Maybe Big D can call that out later. Okay? But we used the cross stops on this taper right here. And I showed you how it works on a bevel. But somebody texted me, emailed me, DM'd me, I forget what it was. It said, hey, when are you going to do something on the Domino cross stops? And I went, oh, what a great idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step through as I do a normal training with the cross stops. It's these pieces right here. You can buy them individually. You can buy them together, okay, individually, or they come with the sets with the dominoes. Okay, they're known as the cross stops. And boy, have I seen people struggle with these over the years. And to this day, I've seen people not setting it up correctly. So people will ask me all the time, hey, I'm not getting the right alignment with them. Well, let me show you what I've run into. And possibly during this episode, you'll go, oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. Okay. So let's just keep it simple. I'm going to start right over here. And Big D is going to call out every once in a while so you guys can see an up close right here at this spot right here. So let's describe the cross stops. You have this little dovetail right here. Big D, you getting this? Okay, and where this lives is right here, whether on the 500 or the 700. You getting this? Okay, now let me grab the 700 so you can see that as well, and you'll see how the pin is right there. This is the tail. Okay, these, only one set you need for both the 500 and the 700. Okay, so I want you to notice this as I do this. You see this right here? See how it wiggles? Big D, you getting that? Okay, and when I pull this lever back, that's when it tightens in that dovetail pin. Okay, and this is critical, and you'll see why. Because when I pull that back, this pin is not obstructed at all. And that's also important because I've seen people put this on the wrong side with this flipped over, and this gets in the way when it's tightened. And you know, it's funny, when I do this virtually for Festool Live on YouTube, I'm kind of like, I used to look up and I'd see people, when I used to do this in person, you would see somebody going like this, maybe at a trade show or training class going, yeah, I was doing that. Okay, so I used to do that until I really paid attention to this whole thing. And hopefully I get that across to you today. The other thing I want to show you right here, you got it? Okay. Let me just point this out. You see where it says DF500? Okay, and up top here it says DF700. Now I'm going to try to explain this to the best of my ability. Okay, when it says DF500, of course it's set up for the Domino. Okay, but as I bring that in and you see the pin, and I'm going to set this up in a minute, I want you to notice this here on the 500. Okay. This part here is the base, and the distance from the base to the center of the bit, and hopefully you guys all see this. I'm going to turn this around so I get a better view of it myself, and I'll bring the plate up. You see that flat spot? That's precision ground. Okay, the distance from the base, and I've called this out on several Domino episodes, the distance from here to the center of the bit, check this out, everybody, whoop, 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 is, Big D, you getting this? Is 10 millimeters. Aha. So if we check this out, and I'm going to grab this, okay, the distance from when it says 500 to the center, oh my God, look at that. I can't believe it's right, okay? Now let's get the 700. And as I do this, you're probably going to see all kinds of things on here that you're going, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, now, the distance from the base of the XL, the DF700, is into the center of the bit. And look right here, Big D, hopefully we can get this. You see that little mark right there? See it? The distance from there, and that's the center of the bit, the distance from there is 15 millimeters. And guess what? When I take, and I'm going to take this off and switch it, it's really easy. You just spin this like this, you take it, you bring it out, and you rotate it. And now, look, it's ready for the 700. See that? And the distance on that is 15 millimeters to the center of the pin. So this helps keep it in the same plane when you're referencing your material. I'm going to switch this back to the 500 because that's how we're going to use it first. Hopefully I switch it back correctly. There it is. And I'm going to bring it right back on here. And let's talk about this again. Woo! Okay. So let's look on here like this. And you see this? It's got these little serrations in here. It's toothing or teething or whatever you want to call it, okay? But you see that? And you have, here's your index pin. So I always go like this. That's loose and that's tight. So when it's tight, I'm going to make sure that that pin is facing forward. Now, hopefully you know this, okay? In metric, 25 millimeters is roughly an inch. Okay, so let's talk about what's 150 divided by 25, 6. So you could space, and now I'm going to set it right here, but I want you to pay attention to this. You see this tiny big D so we can see it? There's a little indentation right here. You always reference the inside cursor. See it? And I'm going to put it at 150. Big D, you getting that? Okay, hopefully that's coming through on the camera, and it just falls into place. So now the distance from your cursor here to the side of to that pin is 150 millimeter. Okay, but what's really cool about that is now, and what this does is, you guys, hopefully you know this, and I've called this out. Do you know the distance from the flaps to the center of your domino is 37 millimeters? That's the same distance. That's the reference for your first shelf pin or hinge plate on a frameless cabinet. It's 37 millimeters for the front, 37 millimeters from the back. Okay, so guess what? The distance from here to here, the distance from here to the center, and the distance from here to the center, 37 millimeter. Okay, what we're in essence doing is, guess what? We are adding more indexing positions. So I'm going to take that look, and whenever you put something on here, and I've seen people do this, and this is where I see people get misalignment. They take these and try to put them on here like this and turn them back. No, keep it easy. Go like this. Put your machine flat, okay, and turn it back like that. Now it's on there. See that? And let's take the other one. Bring it in here, okay, and I'm going to lock that in. Now, hopefully that all came across, and I have this set at 150 and this 150, roughly 6 inches apart. You have the ability to go from roughly 4 inches to 8 inches spacing with the cross stops. And yeah, it sounds funny, but look, it looks like a cross stops. Okay? Now, here's where I've seen people, me in the beginning. Oh my God. Chris, turn around. Look at that. Boy, we got a lot of people watching today. Woo! All right. Okay, so here, and I put some blue tape on this. I was recently at a trade show, and I was watching somebody use this, and it wasn't a Festool, okay, event, but I wanted to make sure that I showed you this, because here is where, and to this day I see it. Okay, you see how this is loose with this pulled back, and that's my indexing pin. Check this out. If I go like that, this gets in the way. So this is how this person was using it. Look. And they could have just switched it around, but when I put this into the mortise, this gets in the way of my board. That's gotta be frustrating. Okay, or has the potential of getting in the way. So always make sure you reference it. A quick thing to do with this is just turn it around like this. And now I got two of these sides. Okay. All right, so there we go. I got that in there. Oh boy. I guess I might have miscalculated my time when I was talking to you guys. Okay, good. Now, I am going to put on another accessory. That's called a support bracket. Okay, because I will be plunging vertically in a few minutes. Now, hear me out on this. I am going to put the support bracket on, but remember I said earlier about the support bracket? It does this, it supports. See how I'm putting it on? I'm on a flat surface, and it taps into these two holes right here. Always start from flat is what I'm trying to get at. And like I said at the beginning of this, when I was going through this, there's going to be a lot of little tips in here that may help you with your domino. Okay, so there we go. I am going to, and I'm going to do a quick setup because I want to show you the time savings value of this. So, you've probably used this joinery machine called a biscuit joiner. And when I used to use one myself, I used to do something like this. I used to go, okay, I want a biscuit here. I want a biscuit here. I'm joining these two boards like this. Hey, I want another one right here. Maybe I want one down here, not to come out with it. And maybe another one right here. Okay? I'd break them apart. I'd take them over, and I would line up. Say this is a biscuit joiner. I would line it up on the cursor. and you'd have all kinds of slop in there, and or lateral tolerance, I guess is the right word for it. And it would work, okay? By the way, you could use the Domino like that. I know a boatload of people who do. But when they used to come to training, I used to show them these, and they would go, scratch their head. And you know who you are out there. You would scratch your head and go, oh, I always wondered what those were for. Okay, now I can't see you at home, but I want to know if you're in your office and you're, even this weekend when you're watching it and you're going, yeah, that was me. Or like me, when I see something on YouTube, I usually go like this. I raise my hand and I look around and go, oh, no one's here to see me. Okay, so you could do it like that. You're going to use, and that's why I tell everybody, if you're using your eye, use the middle setting. It gives you 6 millimeters of play. You put it together. But when somebody understands this, they go, oh, that's a huge time saver. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip it over. And when I use the cross stops, the only thing I do is this is one of those laws we have, Festool laws, rules, okay, is always mark your reference face. Okay, now I'll do this. I'll actually make an arrow sometimes because that's the way I'm going to carry my machine. Now, this is another common myth about it. Someone says, well, why do we have two? Because I use this one for this side and I use this one for this side. But until you use them, and I tell everybody, practice a little, and then it hits you. Wow, is this a huge time saver? Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to get everything up and running. Chris, you're over here with me, okay? And I'm going to show you a struggle I had when I first started using a Domino in 2007. Okay? I had to understand this. This is so common. And when I show you what I was doing, I know there's a boatload of you back home going on in your offices, going like this. Yeah, that's what I did. So remember this. What happens on this board, the sequence I'm going to show you, has to happen on that board. So even this morning I saw on Instagram, I saw somebody reach out to me and said, man, with the cross stops, I love them, but I'm having misalignment. I used to struggle with this until I figured it out, until I came to work at Festool. Okay, so I'm going to go through in my head. This is 20 millimeters. I'm going to set it up right here. Chris, you know to show that in the window. I'll bring it over. I'm going to set up my machine. I'm using a 5 millimeter, so I'm using a 5x30. Let me get some dominoes. Okay, beautiful. 5x30s. I got a 5 millimeter bit in there. I checked it before we started. You didn't change it on me, Big D, did you? Okay, you always got to check with, you got other Festool employees in the room. I set it at 15. Minnie, you know why I set it at 15?
I'm sure I do, but...
What's half of 30?
15!
So, Mrs. Metric is in the house. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is, you see this tight right here? That's going to be my first one. And I'm not going to use these two pins here. I'm going to use this flap. That'll bring me 37 millimeters. Okay, so I'm just going to take it like this. Hopefully I get everything hooked up. Let me get this on here. Let me get this on here. Am I plugged in? Oh, let me go like this. Yep, I'm ready. That Bluetooth is for somebody else. Okay, let me put this. Always remember this, everybody. Before you put your plug-it cord on, make sure your tool is cycled off, okay? It's just a good safety thing. It's a good habit to get involved with, get into, and also always make sure that's a full quarter turn. Okay, so when I started up, now, I'll tell you some other things that people have come up to me and said, I like these, but they keep falling off. And I'll show you why. These are just an indexing. They're not there to hold it in place. So I always tell people, just take your time using them. They've already increased your productivity because you don't have to do a whole heck of a layout. So just treat them nicely. I guess that's the right way to say it. I don't know. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to grab that flap, and I'm going to plunge. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it to the loose setting. And you see, watch, I'm going to take that pin, I'm going to put it in there, and I'm just going to shoulder it. I'm not jamming it. And I'm going to plunge. Okay, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to move it to the next one. I'm going to set it in there. I'm going to bring it over. And I'm going to plunge. I'll do one more. Okay, so I'm going to take it out. I'm going to leave it right here for now. Okay, and let's look at this. Let's bring it up here and look at it. Okay, so I have tight. I have 6 millimeters in place, 6 millimeters, and 6 millimeters. Okay, now there's gonna after I do the other board, I'm gonna break it apart again. I'll show you how it goes together. I'll break it apart, and then I want to go over a couple more things that I hear people talk about, and it's not necessary. Okay, so see, there's your tight, no lateral tolerance that way. This is a little bit loose. By the way, you still have your glue line and your shear strength if you need it, but your glue line is the most important. It's tight this way. There's no movement, so you're going to get that perfect glue line adhesion with it. This is a remarkable system. It really is. Okay, since I marked my board, I don't have to think about it. I just take this one, bring it over here. Somebody asked me one time, do I need to keep them both on? No. Just remember, you got to put this one on and take this one off, but you don't have to keep both of them on. All right, so I'm just going to turn this on. Now, here's the mistake I used to make, and it used to drive me crazy until I finally figured it out. Remember I said what happens on that board? Tight, loose, 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 loose. This is what you do, because I did it. I didn't switch it back, right? I would start right away in the loose setting. And someone may correct me and say, well, that'll line up but then if I use the pin and I go over, the second one will line up, okay? But then it gets progressively set over, and that is where the alignment goes nuts. So what I'm going to do is I start it up, and remember, always remember, you only switch with this while it's running. Okay, so now I'm going to go like this. And the other thing I've seen people do on this is they use this pin. No, remember, what happens on there happens on here. So now you're going to use the flap. Many of you paying attention that I do this right? Okay, now I'm taking that pin and I'm bringing it right in. I switched it to the 6 millimeter play. I'm going to bring this one in. Got it all. Beautiful. And now I'm going to do one more. Just like this. You notice how I work off of the table. I plunged in line. I plunged at a steady rate. And I'm always referencing that board. Now, let's take it like this. I'm just going to swing it around so you guys can all see it like this. I'm just going to rotate this like this. Okay, so we can all see this go together. Here's my reference face. Now, I know that's going to line up perfect. Okay, but here is what I want to mention to you all. Okay, this is so important. What if I had used those cross stops and the flaps for indexing, and I did 10 feet, but I did it in a tight setting? Would it go together? Big D? Yes. Gotcha. And the reason I'm saying that is because the precision is on the machine. But what would happen is Big D would have to be on the other side, and we'd have to put it down, with Chris and with Minnie, and we'd have to put those two pieces down. I've done it over 6 foot with the cross stops on maple, 6/4 maple before, 32 millimeter. And guess what? It went in, but I had to go grab Rick, and we had to put it again. He probably doesn't remember, but that was my first year at Festool, and we put it together. It was good, but he was like, that's where that epiphanal moment was to me. And this is why we do loose. It helps in assembly. There's my tight, look. I'm going to grab my tight, and the rest fall in place. And here's the beauty of the tight on that end. Guess what? When I put this in glue up, it's locked now. Kind of like when it's locked with a miter joint. Okay, so there you go. That's the basic bones of the cross stops. And I wanted to point that out. Now, like as promised, I wanted to show you that sequence, but somebody came up to me not too long ago and said, hey, I do that exact same thing. I like it. But then sometimes I'll come from this end and do this side tight. You're defeating the purpose. You do tight on either side at the end. You still now have to put it down at a perfect 90, don't you? Here, you're alone in your shop. You could take this and just ease it right in. And that's where we talk about alignment. And that's what this lateral tolerance adjustment is. Wow. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this correctly. I have this one and this one like this. I'm going to take these out. Okay. And I'm going to go like this over a long run. Okay. And this may help you because I've talked about this before. I'm going to come right over here. You know what? Let's just take it like this. Make it easy for me. I'll take it like this. I've already done that side. But somebody asked me, hey, when I do a cabinet and I want to put one in the middle, you know, I've always done, and I've showed you this on the butt joint. I've done one in, right? But what if it's a deep cabinet? So this is simple. I've already got half of it. This is the side of my cabinet. This is my bottom. I know this isn't a perfect example, but I'll do this. Look. Okay. I'll make that mark. That's my reference mark. Okay. But I'll also do this for myself because I know I got to come in that direction. Okay. I know by looking at this, I'm plunging vertical, right? Okay. So there. I'll take it like this, and hopefully this helps you out. Okay. I got to remember the sequence now. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to do tight. But you can also use these cross stops vertical. And remember, my pressure is here. Okay? And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to plunge. Like this. I'm going to turn it in here. And you can use these in a vertical position, just like this. I just got to make sure that that's up against there, and that's all the way, and it is. There we go. Always making sure that that is shouldered up against right there. Because if it's not, what happens is it gets progressively worse as time goes on. And I'll just do one more so you can see it. And hopefully, and I tell everybody this. Sometimes when you first get a new tool, or if you're new to the Domino, or if you're new to those cross stops, or you had that Domino and you said, oh, that's what those cross stops are for, go out and practice with them, just so you can wrap your head around them and understand the basics of it. And this is why I was excited that somebody asked me about the cross stops, because I thought we had already done these. And I was excited to show you, because here you go. Here's that alignment, and here's that. Look, perfectly flush, and there's your joint. They work equally as well doing your piece here. And I think you get the gist of it, but I'll just show you a quick setup on the XL so you understand it. Exactly as I mentioned it. I'll just take this piece here. I'll just do a quick setup. I want to put these two pieces together. I'm not going to go through it, but I know you're going to get the gist of it. I want to make sure my seam is right. Okay. I know I'm rushing this, but this is Minnie, this is your new countertop for the utility room. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start. Okay, right here. It's the same process with the XL, and I know you get this, right? That's my arrow. That's which way I'm going. I'll just take this, I'll set it aside. Always mark your boards. Now, let's just set up the XL. I don't think I have to go through it. I'm just looking at time. All right. Big D. Let's do this. Start a clock. See how long it takes for a switch over. All right, because somebody, when we started this, when the XL came out, somebody said, "Oh man, that's going to be a hell of a switchover." And they go, "Is there going to be cross stops or a different set of cross stops?" And there's not. Look, there's your 15 millimeter. I'm just going to take it like that. They're 6 inches apart, and that's how quick it is. And I'll show you how they go on the XL. Minnie, you got any plans for the weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Oh, boy. Kaz. All right, and there you go. And it's ready to rock and roll for the XL. The same nuances I showed you, but I'm going to emphasize this one more time for everybody. When you are putting these on, make sure you are on a flat surface. I can't say it enough because I've seen people tweak these and get frustrated. Take a deep breath, go meditate, whatever. Okay, but man, these things are dead on accurate. They work like a champ. And there you go. Woo! I think I covered everything. So those are the cross stops. Now, there is another accessory that comes in those sets of yours. And I don't know exactly when, but I would say probably within a month or two, I'm going to cover that trim stop. And I got one heck of an application for you because I'm doing something at home right now with it. So I want to make sure you understand that. That trim stop, I don't think I have done it due justice here on Festool Live, and I'm going to go through a whole Festool Live on the trim stop. I promise. Okay. So, oh my goodness gracious, look what we got here, huh? Minnie, how's the second side look?
I saved myself a
Oh boy, I got to get going. Okay. Here we go. I'm looking at the time this time, everybody, because, let me turn this off. Because sometimes I look up and I go, oh, how long did that take for me to call out everybody? In this room, Big D, Chris, Minnie, I almost called her Marianne. And when I'm at home, sometimes I call Marianne Minnie. And Sparky. How you doing, Sparky? This is our favorite part. Because you guys have created one heck of a community with us, and we really appreciate it. So, hey, Big D, how many do we have so far? Peak. Yeah, baby. All right. So, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to call it out. Ireland. And we had Galway, Ireland today, didn't we, Min?
Yes, we did. I want to know Ireland you were coming because they are on the board all over the
Okay, so I'll tell you right now. Ireland. I will be there. It is my PTO, personal time off, but my wife is cringing because I've tried to be over there for 2 years now. It is a lifelong dream of mine, but also my wife, and we're with another couple, and we are scheduled for the last week of October, beginning of November. But I think I've scheduled 2 days in Dublin at the end. Woo! I am so stoked because my whole life I've wanted to go to Ireland. I'm so stoked. You guys have a beautiful country, and that's just the beginning. Okay? So maybe we can draw a few pints together. All right, because I don't drink. Whoa! All right, that's not true. Okay, everybody, I'm calling out Ireland. And we have Westmouth, Ireland, too, don't we? Doug from Zionsville. How you doing, Doug? Ian from East Yorkshire. How you doing, Ian? We love you, brah. Kurt from Surrey, Wisconsin. Toledo, Ohio. Hudson, Wisconsin. Michael from Edmonton. Dawn from Albuquerque. Boise is at Noisy, Idaho. Sun City, West Arizona. Bethridge, Long Island. Soren, Denmark. Russ from Chichester. Hey, Russ, thanks for reaching me out to me this week. Russ. Hugset, I think his last name. He's watched every single Festool Live as well. Ohio, We got a 2-pack. Lausanne, Switzerland. Mike M. from Austin, Texas. Hey, Mike, I'll be in Austin, I think, in April. Peoria, Illinois. Madrid. Framingham, Mass. Bozeman, Montana. Wake Forest, North Carolina. Beechwood, Ohio. Warren from Batavia, Ohio. Downers Grove, Illinois. Tom and Kelly, you've watched everyone. We love you from Georgia. I'm going to meet you someday. I know it. The Netherlands. 2-pack. Michael from Queens Creek, Arizona. York, PA. Adam from Custom Woodworking in St. Louis, Missouri. Andy G. from Enfield, Connecticut. Fenton, Michigan. Mark S. from Woodcrest, Springfield. Ted from Pinehurst, North Carolina. Keys from Boss Coop, the Netherlands. Man, they love us in the Netherlands, huh? Okay. Watsonville, California. By the way, I've been to the Netherlands. They got a great Festool there, great training center. All those guys are wicked cool. Watsonville, California. Jeff O. from Clarksburg, Maryland. Chris, how are you from Malta? Dude, I'm trying. Live from Malta, Festool Live. Minnie wants to go. Steve from the island of Bermuda, Orlando, Florida, Dale City, Virginia. I want to go to Kittery, Maine, or Kittery, Maine, but Kittery, Maine. Belgium, Lisbon, Portugal. Is that cool or what? We've had Portugal before, haven't we? Men? Okay. Glad to have you back, Lisbon. Paul from Berkshire, UK. Oliver from the French Alps. Man, that sounds cool, don't it? The French Alps. I'd love to go. Okay. Southern California, or SoCal. Springfield, Oregon. Keith from Howell, New Jersey. Denver. Oh, Minnie's starting to put my pronunciation on there. Denver, Colorado. I was actually saying, is there really a Denver? Okay. Tynesboro, Mass. Nims, or Nimes. Nims, I believe, France. Blake from Novato, California. By the way, Blake is another great guy who watches every single Festool Live, and he's a friend of mine that I've met here on Festool Live, and I want to meet you, Blake. You sound like a great guy. Mike from Cary at Creative Custom Interior. David from Paris, France. Pittsburgh, PA. Ontario, Canada. Okay, and it's Westmead. Westmead, Ireland. Minnie, we got to turn that puppy around. I can't believe this, Big D. Check this out. And Minnie is still reading. Marianne says hi to the team. Is that my wife?
That is your wife.
Hi, honey. I love you. We're celebrating 30 years this year. Can you believe somebody's put up with me for 30 years? You are my life, and you know it. Edinburgh, Scotland. Morita, North Dakota. Morita, North Dakota. Moreland, Kansas. Alex, I know who you are. You're a great dude. Concept Living Carpentry. Is that in Dublin, Ireland? Ho from Greece. Whiteston, New York. Rob. I know Rob. Jeff C. from Lansing, Michigan. Salina, Kansas. I know who Lafayette, Indiana. I promised them I say it. Boiler up. There you go, Garrett. He's a Purdue boy. Norman from Los Angeles, Michigan. British Virgin Islands. Tulalip, Washington. Phil from Ellerslie, Georgia. Stephen from Las Vegas. Tom from Jerusalem, Belgium. Arthur from San Antonio. George from Gig Harbor, Washington. Craig and Tyler from Harding, Virginia. Roel from Wolvega, the Netherlands. Pete from Netherlands, that gives us another 2-pack. Johannes, South Africa. Brian from Herndon, Virginia. Montreal, Canada. Aka, Finland. Brad, New England. Northeast Indiana. They're starting to blend. 1,000 Islands, New York. What a beautiful place that is in upstate New York. Jim from Traverse City, Michigan. Another beautiful place. Kyalami, South Africa. Dana from Yakult, Washington. Independence, Kentucky. Jeff from Jefferson City, Missouri. Yizu from Pararimbo, Suriname. Houston, Texas. Toulouse, Denmark, New Hampshire, California, Krakow, Poland, Rich from Lufkin, Texas. Would you say Spooky? Okay, let's. I can't help it. I love dogs. Mario from Cyprus. This is so cool. We have Adelaide, Australia, West Unity, Ohio, Dubai. Have we had people from Dubai before? UK, Strongsville, Ohio, Bellevue, Nebraska, Ivan Loki from Genoa, Italy. We have Judah and Selah from Plainfield. We have Ireland again. Oh boy, we're going to have fun, aren't we? Perrysville, Ohio, Northern Virginia, Dan Kingman from Arizona. I know you, Dan. Durham, North Carolina, Luxembourg. Is that a first? Oh boy, hey, welcome aboard, Luxembourg. Thank you for calling us out. West France, Daniel from Niantic, Connecticut. Georgetown, Texas, Popesti Lerderli, Romania. That's first. Popesti Leodeni, Romania. Wow. Chris from Kennesaw, Georgia, Oswego, Illinois, Noisy, Boise, Idaho, Cologne, Germany, woo! Southern VA, Southern Virginia. Minnie, did you write more on that? I got them? Okay. Everybody, that's a wrap. It just keeps getting bigger and better, and I want to thank you. We love you. Thank you for tuning in to Festool Live. We're live again next week from Minnie. Sparky, Chris, Big D, Brent Online, everybody who helps us keep this show going. We thank you. We thank everybody for participating. We love you. We'll see you next week, Friday at noon. This is a wrap. Festool Live.